Greetings, listeners. Your host for the night, Zach, here again, introducing you to another episode of Spacers, our Starfinder actual playcast. Our first few episodes back were recorded via Discord, so some audio quality issues will be expected. This podcast and all our other shows are brought to you by the amazing supporters such as Noops, Rainweaver, Alec, D1193, Alex Studley, KJ, Chris D, and all our other supporters over on Ko-fi. Thanks for sticking with us through this hiatus. Visit our Ko-fi page to support the shows, get more podcasts, limited stock items, and special unlocks for Spacers and The Call. Thanks again for your support. If you're looking for Spacers and The Call merch or other projects we have on the go, please head over to our main website at twistedgearstudios.com. To participate in live edits of our podcasts, join us at twitch.tv/twistedgearstudios every Sunday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But for now, last we left the crew. The crew struggled to deal with the new normal on Kairos Prime. Continuing their plan to arm themselves for the coming conflict, Greg has led them back to the site of the Tesseract Dig, where they have come face to face with the monstrosity that guards the planet.
Greg, you have sat upon this cooler, staring up at this almost godlike entity. You've drawn its attention, its ire? You're not sure yet, as it has now lowered itself down before you, and you are now just bathed in the light that comes from this glowing, translucent orb that circles upon its head. First things first, I would like you to roll me a perception check.
Okay.
No. This would be culture check.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's an important skill in Starfinder. Okay. You haven't done a lot of investigating.
I know. It's just not usually an important skill for goblins.
Nope. This is why it's funny you chose to do this. But don't worry, only one other person could have attempted this.
Okay, I got a 17 in total.
17 in total? It wasn't that hard to... It is more of a perceptive sort of thing. Up close, you can now tell that, especially with your familiarity with the planet, and you were the pilot to the ship that came here twice now, the orb upon its head seems to be some kind of almost holographic representation of the topography of this planet.
Ooh, that's cool.
But it seems to just stare at you. You now have its attention. What would you like to say to it?
Oh, Christ.
So are you like some kind of guardian or guard or something?
Upon asking this, the guard, it's a stone-like figure with cracks all throughout the stone to accommodate the movement of its body, and vines kind of wrap around all of the components to keep it as one being. One of the smaller tendrils kind of begins to snake off of its forefinger and up towards where you are currently seated. Do you do anything at this moment?
I just say...
I point towards the tendril that's moving towards me, and I say,
that's not making me feel very comfortable right now. In fact, I feel very uncomfortable.
Doesn't stop.
Do you talk, or do you talk, or do anything, or are you just gonna like eat me?
Gets closer. It goes up the cooler. Kind of wraps around your ankle, and upon wrapping around your ankle, you suddenly are given like weird flashes and images upon your initial question of asking for this thing, and it shows you a series of events of it attacking ships, wayward vessels that come to pillage the land. And you get this, with the images, you also get like an emotional desire to keep what's left of this planet pure. And then you're back to staring at it.
Can they all hear me through the comms right now, or do I have to activate, or can they hear me?
If you want to act, if you don't want to have the comms on, you can make that decision now. Do you want the comms on or off?
On, because if I scream in my death throes, I want them to know.
Okay, fair.
So, all right. So you just hear Greg go,
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's alright. That makes some sense.
okay.
Making confused
So
faces at everybody.
can I try?
Oh, real
And
quick.
I
Actually,
might-
hang on one quick sec before you proceed. Upon seeing that vision, I need you to make me a willpower saving,
Yes.
a will saving throw.
Okay.
Yeah, you should make me a will save.
Your mind freaked.
19,
Okay.
which might not be enough considering the type of being I am
It's
interacting with.
Not
at the moment.
great.
And Greg, mine turns to mush, and you guys are on your own.
Whoa, that's 3 9s.
Oh, that's a bad thing. That sounds like a bad
Okay.
You
thing.
take 34
Okay.
points of psychic damage, and you are confused.
Will that come off?
Huh?
Does that come off my stamina first?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that'll come off your stamina first.
Okay.
When the vision completes, on top of taking that psychic damage, you have the confused condition. And I'll describe how this kind of functions for you.
Okay.
Because confused is a little complicated. Okay, so
What is it?
it's a little complicated. It's so you have the confused condition for the time being, or at least for the next minute. Depending on what you choose to do, it might alter your perception of those events. At this point, you are not entirely sure if this being is here to aid you or hurt you.
Okay.
But now you can continue.
Well, that's kind of how I was feeling anyway, so. Okay. So. Alright. Okay. So I'll do the same thing where I'll say, oh,
Okay, I think that makes some sense. That's interesting.
and then I'll say,
So, does that mean that if I knew that danger was coming, that you would want to know?
and it.
Give me another will save.
I don't know if it's decided whether or not to kill me yet.
I don't think it's decided either.
What is this? It's probably never seen or smelled a goblin before.
Depends on what you believe direction of time goes.
Will save is 25.
This time, the image is clear, very crystal clear. And
Okay.
you don't suffer any pain from the transmission that it gives you this time upon asking if your specific question. So if I knew of problems coming, would you want to know? And it starts showing you the same images it showed you before, but in varied sequences. You recognize 2 of the instances that it shows you. You recognize the one
Okay.
from about a month and a half ago when you first came here and witnessed its combat, and it also shows you the moment of its death, which, should you have rolled lower on that will save, would have been a huge problem. But you do experience that, you get the sense that it is aware of all of the infractions made upon this world.
Oh. Oh, so like it already knows that it's going to die, or will die, or
Or has died.
has died,
Or will
Wait.
have died.
Does
or will have died.
Greg see its death?
If you had rolled any lower on that will save, this would have been bad. The check is 24.
Am I allowed to? Am I allowed to know the description of its death? Whether you tell it to us as a group or send it to me privately?
So the way that this challenge is kind of working out is every action that you ask of it, in which a response is made, the check has to be made, and it's kind of limited and rudimentary in what it can provide. So should you wish to investigate its memories further, it will be some kind of a check, because it's just kind of providing you as close to communicational stimuli as it can. So it presents this image, but the specifics are kind of vague, as it's neither a memory nor is it the point that, nor is it relevant to the question you asked. So you could try and seek it, but you would have to make something of it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically, Brett didn't see.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not a memory, and it's not something from the future. It just is something, or is what it is, basically.
Yeah, it helps get the point across that it is aware of infractions on the world.
Yeah, it doesn't think of things as a point in time. It's just a thing.
It thinks of things that are against or for this planet.
This planet. Okay.
Because I believe that your guys' previous research into the Calecor didn't exactly give you as much information, just didn't give you much info, right? Okay.
Can I try? Because I'm assuming this tendril thing is. I mean, it's still wrapped around my ankle. Can I try communicating with it? Yeah, but this is how it seems to be communicating with me.
You get the sense.
Can I try, instead of actually vocally asking a question, can I try picturing something in my mind and seeing if it picks up on communication that way?
You can try.
All right. I want to try. Picturing the fight that we had with Jovac, like in our timeline, like our fight that we had with him, specifically focusing in on him as the centerpiece of my thought or communication, and see if I get anything in response.
Sorry, it will need to be some kind of, just for, because I myself am not a Calecor, I will need you to phrase it in some kind of a question so I can let you know what I need you to do to accommodate.
I want to picture the exact point in time when we entered the room and Jovac was first facing us, when he was trying to manipulate that big thing that was, I can't remember what we called it, like the astrological or astral sort of machine thing that was in the room. And just like focus in on him and give my thoughts like anger and hatred towards him.
Okay, so you want to share your opinion of Jovac with
my feelings about him, yes.
Roll me a negotiation or persuasion check, a positive social skill.
Okay. So
Diplomacy,
probably diplomacy?
Yeah.
All right.
So many game systems. They all choose a different word for it.
Yeah.
I know. I got 25.
25 is good. Upon doing this,
I got a 12 on it.
Now, Greg, you kind of like go introspective with this, right? You kind of like close your eyes, you go through these, you're sending mental imaging and emotions with this. The rest of you out by the trees, you watch as the Calecor stands up as if it is about to attack or it is frustrated in some way. Is there anything any of you wish to do at this moment?
Like, does it look like it actively looks aggressive, or just stands up? Because if it's frustrated, I mean, that's great.
Do you want to... So Trying
fair.
to suss out the situation would be considered your action in this. Basically, you can all make an immediate action right now, depending on how you want to behave. If that is
I would like to do a sense motive check.
sense motive, please, Diantha.
Oh, that's a natty one. But I add like a fuck ton to it. Doesn't matter.
What's the final number?
12, 16.
16. Holy shit! Plus 15. That's great. You get the sense that Grek has pissed it off, and it either is about to attack Grek, or he's not very far off from doing so.
I'm gonna fire
Shit.
a warning shot over its shoulder.
Oh, I think I understand what I did. Ooh.
But it's also about misinterpretation too. Okay.
Yeah.
Laurel, intimidation check.
I'm rolling terrible. 13.
13. You all watch Grek. You're ripped from this situation. I need you to roll me another willpower saving throw. A creature within 250 feet. The four of you. You watch as the Calecor shoulders whip around, and Laurel, willpower saving throw.
Uh-oh.
11.
Okay, Grek, what'd you get on yours?
I got a 30 on mine. I rolled very, very well.
It says you're fine, Grek. Laurel, you take 22 points of psychic damage. As
Ooh,
this-
Does that count as a ranged attack?
No, it counts as a mind-altering effect.
Okay.
Laurel, as soon as this
Okay.
thing whips around and stares at you, you are just inundated as if somehow the ground itself is seeping into your feet through your armor. You feel this as if the planet is angry with you, as if you are now, you are no different than all of these violent images it starts showing you of all the pain that has occurred to this planet for as long as you can think of, and it's just racking you with all this pain. Greg, from your perspective, you just feel like a bit of a tug as the tendrils pulled away, and now you see this thing is whipped towards your friends. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just me and Cliptic left with our actions, right?
Yes.
Because I'm not drawing a weapon or anything. It'd be pointless to fight this thing. Because number one is, we need it alive. Even if we could screw it up, it needs to be there for Jovac to affect. But I was gonna start moving out toward, because I'm gonna try to get the Grek to get Grek away from the situation.
Okay. Greg is very far away from you, so you won't be able to do this in one action, but you can begin this process.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep sort of like my hands up as I'm running fast and low to the ground, because it's not like I'm gonna fight this thing.
Yeah. So it's gonna be weird. I know you're also trying to be like non-combative. Just roll me an athletics check for the purposes of distance that you make. Cliptic, what's one thing you want to do right away?
I want to use ghost sound to make it sound like an explosion off in the distance, not quite behind it, but where it's gonna hopefully draw its attention away from us. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. I'm just checking something right now. Sure. Do you have to make a roll for it? You just activate it, right? Roll me a deception check. And then Flinch, what did you get?
Well, I was gonna wonder if I could use acrobatics because I'm running through the trees.
Absolutely, yeah. Whichever one's most effective. It's however you want to get through it.
Okay.
Well,
I got
sorry,
a 31 on acrobatics.
31, Jesus.
I got plus 15.
That's great. So
So
what you got in your deception there, Cuptek?
Is it deception?
What else would it be called? Either
On the
deception,
sheet.
coercion,
Bluff.
bluff. Yeah, bluff works.
Okay, bluff.
That's my bad.
Okay,
Again,
sure.
that's 4 different game systems I run. I'm trying to solidify it, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't think it worked because I rolled 11.
Okay. This thing rolled a 35. You kind of go, you set this explosion, and it's just, because you're right next to Laurel, it just hunkers down, and it goes to stare at you until Flinch, you were like jumping over some trees and climbing through. You make it to the crevice, and this thing's attention is drawn towards you. However, it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have an expression on it, but the way that it's aggressively whipped around towards Laurel, Cliptic, and Diantha, when it sees you, it kind of calms down again, as if it did with Greg the first time it saw Greg. But Greg, you now see that Flinch is now in the crevice, and the Calecor is just looking down at him calmly.
Did I pick up on that?
I'd say with that high sense motive check you made before, yeah, it won't make you roll again. You would notice that it seems to act not aggressive towards Flinch.
Okay, I'm gonna back off and just kind of hide back down in the grass and just let what's playing out with Flinch play out, because it seems to be the best move right now. I'm gonna encourage who's still with me, Laurel and Flinch, to do the same. Yeah,
down we go.
Yeah.
I think I see what may have happened there.
Laurel and Cliptic, do you resist Diantha's get out of the grass, or do you follow along with it?
No resisting from me.
Can I resist? I'm currently being mind whammied.
It's not like you are confused. Oh wait, you failed. Okay, so not only did you take the damage, so you were also confused. As these I forgot to finish describing that to you. As these flashes are hitting you, you are here, you're present, and you can see your surroundings, but you cannot discern what is a flash of aggression and antagonism and memories of things that have happened and will happen and are happening, and what is happening now. There are two beings next to you, and as far as the images that have been presented to you, beings on this planet are bad. Depending on how you can either go with her or not, depending on what you do, I will have to roll something for you. What do you do with that confusion in mind? How do you want to behave with Diantha's response?
I'm not going to do what she tells me to do.
I'm going to roll a percentile for you then.
Oh no. Don't roll higher than 76. Don't roll higher than 76.
59.
It's all bad.
Laurel, roll me a d8. Oh, you have the stats up there, Derek?
I know. Confusion is the same in.
Oh, that's right. That's confusion. Okay.
Yeah.
7.
7? What's your strength modifier?
Oh no.
Modifier is a 4.
7 plus 4 is 11. What weapon do you have in your hand?
In my hand, I have my semi-automatic pistol.
As Diantha kind of starts to lower you down, you kind of shrug, and you aren't entirely sure what to do, and you actually end up pulling the trigger and shooting yourself in the forearm to try and break out of whatever is happening. You deal yourself 11 points of damage.
Oof. Oh my god. What are you doing? Get...
Ah! Who shot me?
I love that. Who shot me? Let me just double check something. I want to double check one more thing. How long are you confused for? Okay, that was it. As soon as that happens, yeah, you're snapped out of it. Who shot you?
Ah.
As soon as that happens, I don't know if she hit the ground or not, but I want to try and patch her up as quickly as possible. So then I try to bandage her while she's screaming, "Who shot me?"
We'll come back to this little trifecta thing. So that was everyone's singular actions. Now the three of you are kind of like, "Oh God!" Diantha's trying to push you down. You're like, "I'm gonna help her." And Laurel's like, "I shot myself." So you three are having like a Three Stooges moment over in the trees.
Hurting cats.
It's been a while since we've been to Greg. So Greg, what's the first thing? So you've now just been pulled back to reality, and you see that this Calecor is now like not aggressively hunkering down towards Flinch, as he was like in the midst of trying to seemingly get towards you.
It's not like super close to me anymore, right? Because of the size of it. It's like and it pulled back from me.
So this thing is huge. This thing is giant. So in terms of how close it is to you, its hind legs have not moved in this process. It had leaned down towards you, and then it like spun around to the guys behind you, and now it's kind of splitting the difference between those guys, you, and Flinch is kind of right between the two groups. It's kind of just kneeled down above him.
Okay. I'll stand if I'm not already standing because of the movement and stuff that just happened.
You're not, so you stand.
And I'll reach out one of my hands towards it and go, please. Understanding that, fucking touch me. Please touch me.
Diplomacy check.
Okay. Reach out and touch me.
Your name Fate?
Yeah.
I got 26.
26. It doesn't pull its attention away from Flinch, but there are a couple of vines that begin to worm its way out from its hand towards you. They don't quite make it to you, but they move about 25 feet towards you. You're about 15 feet away from them. So you could move, you can use the rest of your movement to get up and connect with the vines if you wanted to.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Alright, so you go on up, you make sure to touch the vine. Flinch. Your immediate response to Greg running forward, grabbing a vine, and this thing hunkering down above you.
Well, I mean, if Greg has already gotten contact with it again, there's nothing I can do. My whole point was to get Greg to leave.
Well, so what do you do at this moment? He has gone forward and... Because remember, you could hear the conversation, but you didn't see Greg do any of this before. This is the first time you see Greg willingly go and touch this vine. So it's your next immediate action with this thing hunkering down.
Well, while it's looking at me, and I got my hands up, because I feel that, I mean, me and Tim have been here for a long time. And it's never bothered us. Right? So... with my hands sort of up, because Flinch doesn't know, he treats everything like somebody's got a gun at him.
Not an incorrect perception of the situation.
Right. So with his hands up, I'm just going to look at the globe. And I guess at this point, because I wasn't Greg, now do I notice that its topography is the world?
You would notice that I'm not even going to get you to roll for you've been here for so long.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm like, we're not trying to mess up this world. Don't hurt us. We're trying to stop bad things from happening. Right?
Yeah. This vine reaches out and begins crawling its way to you. Do you pull away? Resist?
No, I'm not going to resist it because why?
Okay.
It's how it communicates.
You're not asking anything of it, so when it touches you, I will want you to make me a diplomacy check, please.
$14?
14.
I'm not a great diplomacy. Yeah, I'm not. Flinch isn't the best at diplomacy.
You get the sense that with you trying to communicate with this thing, let me just double check something. 14. Yeah, with the heightened circumstance of the situation happening here, it seems a little bit more preoccupied with what it's sending you as opposed to receiving from you. I do need you to make a willpower save right now.
16.
16. You take 27 points of psychic damage as images flood your mind, and you are confused for one round as you do not know if you are a Yosoki, monkey, shadow panther. Like, there is a number of different creatures from this planet that you're not entirely sure. You're not all of them at the same time.
Fair enough.
All right. Back to our Three Stooges.
What order?
Fuck down in the
am I
grass.
Ah! Diantha, you want to try something first? What do you want to do?
No, I'm just trying to like pull them down to the grass so that we can let the people who like clearly have a better relationship with this thing like do the stuff.
Laurel, immediate response.
Sit down in the grass because I just finished being confused and I'm still a little bit confused.
Clip tick.
And I got shot.
I got shot by something.
I'm gonna try and patch
I
up
shot me.
Laurel.
All right, medicine check from you there, please. Clip tick. Or unless do you have like a potion or a med kit or something?
21. 20, just 21 medicine. That's all I'm gonna use. Yeah, I'm not gonna use any of my spells.
Okay. And normally it's just for stabilizing. With a 21, heal it's just stamina. You can heal up your stamina. You can treat this as a bit of like a short rest in a way. With a 21. If it's any wounds,
Whoa.
if you dealt enough damage to hurt your wounds, none of your wounds are back. Just your stamina is down. Like
It's all stamina. It's all stamina.
chill the fuck out.
Whoa. Thanks. What is that? What is that thing?
I don't know,
I-
but
I believe it's a Calecor. We've had this discussion a while ago. It's just we've not really we've seen it alive. Just it's not
whatever it
been
is,
fun.
it's connected to the planet itself, and Flinch has been here a long time, and a number of
Jerk.
Grex probably have been here. That one probably has been here longer than
I just
any
have
of
a
us.
I have a question, Laurel. What happened to you? You went kind of crazy for a second.
Mind whammied me and showed me all kinds of weird stuff. Don't look in its eyes.
So in a
It doesn't
sense,
have any
it can,
eyes.
it can mind link.
Exactly.
You can smell
That's
fear.
basically what it can do. I'd say, yeah, okay.
Back
Let's,
to Flinch and Greg. Flinch, you're up next. You've now connected with this thing, and you're now being inundated with all these flashes. What's the next thing you'd want to do with this confusion going through you?
Okay, so I am still actually confused because if I'm still thinking I'm like every animal, it would be hard to actually.
For this round, you were confused. Depending on what you do, that might take place. After this, when we move on to Greg, the confusion will go away.
Yeah, because basically when I'm able to, when I have my mind back, that I can form a coherent thought, then I have something that I'd like to try to do. But right now, Flinch is probably just like eyes rolled up in his head, drooling.
Yeah.
Like trying to figure stuff out.
All right.
You know what I mean?
So we'll come back to you in a sec. We're gonna just stick with these three here for a sec here for our three stooges. These three being Greg, Flinch, and Calecor. Greg, you see that Flinch looks kind of fucking stunned while he's over on the other side of the crevice. What do you want to do?
Been there, done that. Okay, so this thing is I am touching one of the little tendril things again, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this time, have any idea of what I probably just did? And I'm thinking that the idea I had or the hunch that I had or what I wanted to try probably isn't going to work. So what I want to do is I want to do what I did before and focus in on a thought. But this time I want to picture when we first saw this thing walking past us. Or actually no, I want to picture this planet the first time we saw it, and I want to put out great feelings of love for that planet, basically.
Okay, you're gonna make me 2 checks here. Check number 1. We'll see how the second check goes, but I want you to give me a diplomacy check, please.
I got dirty 20 for that diplomacy.
Okay.
And you said there was 2 checks?
Yeah,
Check?
then now it's your willpower check.
Okay. The will check is also a dirty 20.
Holy God.
16 points of psychic damage. You
15?
you share this vision with it, and all you get in response is you're flooded with, now it doesn't, you get the sense that this headache that you're kind of getting from this communication is not intentional. It's just your
It's brain versus my brain.
yeah, an individual consciousness versus that of an entire planet that has a very complicated history.
Yeah.
But you get the sense that it acknowledges this and believes you. As you're shown a flutter, you're filled with images that kind of show that it views you in a similar respect. All kinds of different versions of you that are across the different kinds of Grecs that you have now kind of formed as one, if you will. Flinch. You feel the confusion subside.
Yeah, that no matter what Flinch would want to do, my diplomacy is shit. My will save is shit. There is literally no way I'll pass any check I'm asked. Even with the dirty 20, I will not make a check. I have such a low thing, but this is what I'm going to do.
It depends on what it is that you ask, right? It depends. The willpower check doesn't depend, but what you want to do will change the DC.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not really asking anything. It's that I've been here for a undetermined amount of time, a long time, several ages, in fact. Colored, yes. The brown times, the green times, the glorious times, the sad times. We've been here a long time. But because I know how my character is and how Tim is, I just want to think and bring into my mind memories of how me and Tim survived here. Never taking more than we needed, just doing enough to survive. The whole time we were here, never like blowing up the planet with me and Tim, you know, like never. And anyone who was here defacing it, attacking them, doing what we can to stop them from doing these things. And that's all I want to do, is just sort of pull that into my mind and try to, especially coming out of confusion, trying to ground myself. Yeah. Just to get across that, like, we're not a threat to this planet. We're doing everything we can. You know. Yeah.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy. Exactly 20. 17 plus 3. I have a plus 3.
Look at the dirty 20s. We're just bathing in them today.
Actually, I got a plus 6 diplomacy. 23.
Damn! Look at the dirty 20s. We're bathing in them today. Jesus Christ.
I got a 17 plus 6 is 23, actually.
The DC for that specifically was very low. But you do still need to make a willpower saving throw.
Yeah. Now, the willpower is the
relevant.
one I have the plus 3 on.
Yeah.
The willpower is the one I have the plus 3 on.
Roll it. If it's a nat 20, I'll be kind.
I rolled a 1.
So I'll be mean.
And it doesn't matter what my plus is, which is a plus 3. A 1 is a 1.
Yep. That's not as good as it could have been.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I rolled garbage for the damage, though, so that's good.
But everyone has been rolling so well, it does make sense that a 1 is going to come up.
You take 15 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
Again, not because of a discomfort in the message you receive, just in the method of transmission is like, fuck. You get the sense that it didn't need you to justify itself. It sees you like it views all the other creatures that live here, hence the confusion in the original transmission. You couldn't decipher it before, but with a clear communication of your ask and its receiving, it solidifies that first message of it sees you like it sees all the other creatures that lives here as benevolent to the planet itself.
Okay.
But with a 20 on that diplomacy check, though, so 23, 20 was the DC to get like extra information. It wasn't the pass. It was just you get extra shit if you beat 20.
You are provided a little bit of information about, again, it's not that you're being shown memories, you're kind of experiencing things. Between you, Tim, and Greg, it is willing to entrust you with itself at some point.
Oh.
You're not sure what that means. It seems like it knows what it means. It's kind of like when you're trying to speak slang with somebody. It's like, oh, what's up? Most people are like, if they don't understand the pilots, they would literally look up, that sort of thing. It like says this as if you should get what it's saying. It's not entirely
what's
clear.
going on right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. What just happened here?
Yeah.
Okay. So Flinch is usually confused with people's ideas
Instructing him
with
with things.
So even though he doesn't really understand what it means, he does understand it's a protector for the planet, and it's not going to kill him. So he's happy.
You can
He's sort of like,
100% go away with that.
yes, I 100% agree with you, sir, Mr. Calecor. Esquire.
Jesus.
Well, I don't even know if it's a Mr. So just Calecor Esquire.
That's fair.
There we go.
Yeah.
Just Calecor Esquire.
That's
There
fair.
we go.
With that, Greg, is there anything you wanted to chime in here as you're connected with this being? I assume the Three Stooges are sitting and just being like, let's not piss it off.
I'll just say out loud this time.
We will leave you to your business, and while we are here, we will do what we can to help protect the planet too.
And then I'll let go of the tendril, hoping it's an indication that, you don't have to stay here and put up with us anymore. You can move along and go kill some monkeys or whatever. I don't know.
It would never do that.
I know it would never do that, and I'm not saying that or thinking it.
Unfortunately, it's not trying to talk to
Just
Laurel,
said it.
so,
Just said it and thought it.
Calyptic, Laurel, and Diantha. Of the three of you, which of... Oh, just lost Jess. Unfortunately, I'm not asking her for anything. Of the three of you, which of you, if I had to ask for a perception check, is willing to make a perception check for me?
I think Calyptic has
I
the
mean,
best
I'm
perception.
willing.
Ah! I love that answer. But Calyptic, please roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Sorry.
Sorry.
18.
18.
Yeah.
Over the past month, this is not a sound that you've grown... Like, it's a sound that you used to be familiar with, but you've grown distant in your memories of it. The soft... It's like this weird thumping sound from the skies above. Usually, from your recollection, accompanying the exit of a drift gate.
Okay.
And you heard a series of them.
That's okay. That's very bad.
Oh
That's not good.
no.
That's
Uh,
not good.
It's the
I-
corporation.
Look up. Is there any visuals?
And looking up and knowing what to look for with a roll of 18, it's you can see a series of, again, details. You're on the surface of a planet, but you can see, even during the daylight sky, that there is a series of small dots that are kind of still, some of them are still appearing in that conclave of dots. Some series of vessels have arrived.
I'm gonna touch Diantha's shoulder and point up to the area and be like, I think we have a problem.
Yes, it depends now on what the exact problem is. And I try and roll and see if I can recognize. I know we're very far away, but just do a roll and see if I can find any extra information.
Do you have any equipment on you that'll extend your vision? You could definitely
No, probably
roll,
not.
but knowing that would help alter some things.
Do not.
And yeah, you can absolutely roll me a perception check.
I'll roll anyways and see what
Yep.
happens.
don't think it's any better. Only a 16, so it's like let's say the same thing.
You're able to see what Cliptic's bringing to your attention, but besides that, nothing more. No.
We need to get back to the ship.
I'm gonna go on comm and say, we have a situation. I think we've got more company than we're prepared to handle.
And as that communication's getting into your guys' ears, the tendrils have already begun to pull away from both Flinch and Grek. And unless there's something that Flinch or Grek wish to do right away, it's just retracting all of its abilities to reach out to creatures nearby. It stands up.
Yeah, because my question is, are we within 5 miles of the ship?
Yes.
Okay, so at level 7, I got an ability. I have my AI Cortex is now enhanced.
Yep.
So I am the ship if I'm within 5 miles of it. So no, I can't fly to me. I don't mean it's complete, but I have access to all of its systems.
Yep.
Now that doesn't mean I can pilot it. So once I hear in the comm that there's stuff happening, could I use my enhanced AI to use the ship sensors to see if I can pick up what the hell just showed up?
Yeah.
Sick.
Roll me a computer's check. I'm gonna up the DC by like 2, but
That's
yeah,
fair.
that's fine.
That's fair.
Absolutely, roll me.
It's a great
Yes,
ability, actually.
It's so good.
I got it at level 7. Yeah. Mechanics.
I'm gonna start calling you Locutus of Flinch.
Ah!
Locutus of the baguette.
Y'all are fucking weird.
What's my plus in computers now? So I have a plus 18, but I only got a 24. I rolled a 6. So even though it seems high, I rolled low.
That does succeed the DC I set for this. So yes, you are able to tap into the as soon as you get that, you see the Calecor standing up. You kind of like roll your eyes at the back of your head and lose yourself into the connection with the ship's computer and kind of visualizing the UI of the ship.
Yeah.
A series of Aoxian class or constructed warships have just arrived in orbit of the planet, with one rather large one at the front of it that is pinging as the Avarice, a ship that you have seen a couple times in the past.
So that would be Jovac's ship.
Safe assumption, yes.
Okay. So now, so I'm going to set an alarm off on the ship and through the comms let Tim know that he needs to meet us at the temple, because I'm assuming we need to go to the dragon at the temple in order to go to the timeline. Right? That's what I'm assuming. We were just told that they're going to put us in the timeline, but we need to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming we can't do that from the ship.
Yeah. How are you going to try it?
Yeah, and because the Calecor is still technically there, even though it's pulling away, I want to like wave my arms and be like pointing up at the sky, because I have a feeling, but it probably already knows it is the planet. You know, bad case of fleas just showed up. You know, it knows.
As you return to your present body away from the ship's UI, and you like start waving at the Calecor, it seems to already, just as you predicted, it seems to already be disregarding of your presence, and is kind of like its shoulders are tilted up towards the sky, and it gets up from its hind legs and begins moving at a faster clip towards the far west of where you're at, away from the temple.
Yeah, so probably where they're going to land, it's going to try to fight. Potentially. I don't know what it meant by entrusting itself to us. Maybe just
I
us.
think it means entrusting the planet to us, because it is the planet.
If any...
Yeah, but...
Because the two of you were the only ones that were connected, this is a long shot, the two of you can each roll a culture check. I just know the last time you guys did research on the Calecor, you rolled really bad. If you rolled really high, you might be able to recollect a little bit more information.
So the thing is that I rolled really bad the last few rolls. Like I rolled on the dice low. So now I need to roll high on the dice.
Ideally, yes.
I know what I got.
Right?
I have a 21 total. I rolled an 18 and I've only got a +3 culture.
Correct, what'd you get?
I got 28 total.
Okay. Greg.
I rolled really well on the dice.
I'll start with what Flinch knows. Flinch, mostly it's a reiteration of what you were told, what you remembered from having someone telling you what they read about a Calecor, is that they are often found on distant planets out in the frontier, and people tend to avoid them because as soon as you go to fight one, it'll fuck you up. They're not weak beings by any stretch of the imagination. However, with a 21 and with your now newfound affinity with it, the DC was lowered just a little bit for certain information. You are able to determine that it does, yes, in fact, act as some form of guardian to a planet. And they only ever show up on planets that have sustained some form of cataclysmic event.
Yeah.
Greg, you specifically, when this thing kind of leaves you, you kind of like, it's almost like coming out of like a trance sort of thing. You are so calm when this thing leaves your presence. You are familiar with the following traits of this creature. That yes, it was born from, Calecors are born from the cataclysm of a world. So the more suffering or pain a planet goes through, the more powerful the Calecor that is produced.
Okay.
Being that this thing is in a state of temporal fuckery, you get the sense this Calecor is pretty tough.
Okay.
But with a 28, and certain things that you read and certain about the communications you just had with it, it is possible, should this thing be destroyed or killed, that its head can be utilized as an item. The wielder of its head has control of the planet to a degree and has free teleportation across the entire area of the Calecor's control. You will also acquire, those with that will acquire something called planetary bond, where you will tie yourself to the planet for the effect to take hold. You have clairvoyance and claridence for the entirety of your time wielding the object on the planet.
So that's if this thing dies and it decided to give this to someone, or the person who destroys it.
Whoever gets the head.
And when we first saw this thing, it was dead, and it had no head. And its head is the topography of a planet.
This planet.
This planet.
Yeah, it means Jovac's gonna have its head. Right.
Son of a bitch.
We're assuming he's the one, because I can't see us killing it. Right? I can't see any future version of us killing it. Like, unless it leaves it near death. But no, it was missing its head, wasn't it? Yeah.
When you saw it, its head was missing.
Yeah, so if you had its head, and that way you had knowledge of the planet that it was connected to or bonded to, you would know everything about that planet.
Correct.
Yeah, it's tied to this planet.
Yeah.
This planet alone. My thing was, when we came across it before in our original timeline, timeline-wise, that would have been way past this point, wouldn't it? Would this have happened at the same time?
You
know what I mean? Like how?
It's so remembering back, so where you're currently at, you're in the past from where you last were by about 25 years, in a different version of events, because now the Pact Treaty was never signed. That's the big difference here. So the moment that you had arrived is 25 years from now in the original place you were from. Could be different depending on the timeline. That's where time gets a little bit screwy.
Yeah.
But if things had never changed, it would have been 25 years from now. What I will say of things that you remember is that by the time you came upon its corpse, the planet had begun to already reincorporate the corpse into the ground. It had been dead for a period of time that no one was able to roll high enough on the medicine check to determine exactly.
Yeah.
But it had been dead. It was not fresh, not super fresh.
Yeah, because the thing is, it entrusted itself to us. And we're just going to abandon it and leave. And whoever kills it is going to take it. So we're abandoning the planet anyway if we don't go with it. That's the problem with that mental leap. That's where Flinch's mind would go. That's the thing, right? That's the issue. Which, because logically you could look at it that way, right? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Okay.
I will say that even though you didn't roll high enough in the medicine check when you first saw its body, it was not 25 years of decay.
Yeah, so it's probably, going to survive whatever this is. And it's going to be later. Because I think we do need to get to the temple and we need to go. The issue is that we're nowhere near prepared. There is so we really need to choose the point in time we go to, because the point in time we go to can't be a point in time where we try to take on the matriarch or Jovac Prime, because we are not capable of doing it.
Okay, so what we had done in our timeline was we figured out that what the key was probably the fact that when we fought Jovac, a big chunk of it was that the matriarch was not there to help him, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When was it that we encountered her on our own, like without Jovac? It was when we went to that planet where we found the lab and they were experimenting with the swarm, right?
Approximately a month before your invasion of Kyle. Yeah.
What did we do to that lab on our way out? There was a fire, wasn't there? Or did we start a fire? Is that what happened there?
You did no reparable damage. You just ran the fuck out.
Yeah, we just ran away.
We went in, we looked around, and we ran, and we shot some things on the way out, but I don't think we did any lasting damage.
And that's the only interaction that we had with the swarm and the matriarch ourselves, wasn't it?
Prior to going back in time, yes.
Yeah, because that was our original timeline of what we did. But the reason the matriarch mightn't have been with Jovac is because of something that we choose to do now in the time we're at.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
Go back.
Because it's
few
the
months
loop,
before,
right? It's a
a
loop.
few months before we encountered, we went to that planet. Or, yeah.
Either way, this is not. We don't have a lot of time to sit down and have the philosophical.
No.
Like, we should all be running.
I was just trying to think of what the frig did we do so that we succeeded on our timeline that we can duplicate here.
Well,
Maybe.
see, that's the thing. On that timeline, it mightn't have been anything we did.
Maybe.
It might be something us now does.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Time travel's a bitch like that.
Well, yeah, because depending on which science fiction writer you're reading.
Yeah, we did Back to the Future.
I will say real quick, and I think this just might be because we had like 7 months between the last time we played, which was in the midst of learning all the things you need to learn for this time puzzle to kind of work out. One of the things that Kyla did say is that she will take you to any time that you want, and the implication was that she would basically send you to your original timeline. There would be 2 of each of you, but you have to choose where in that time period you are to set yourselves up for success. You have, or technically speaking, whatever you are going to do in one version of reality has already happened. You have defeated Jovac. You were able to get to the planet. A series of events. So to recap, all of these are things that happen. You do not know how they. Greg, you know what? No, Greg, you might be able to piece this puzzle together a little bit. Roll me an intelligence check.
This will be where we're running at.
We did Back to the Future ourselves, and your mom or whatever. What was it? I don't know.
I rolled a natural 20.
What? That's what he was trying to do.
All right.
What is it with all of you?
Plus 3, and my modifier is plus 3.
That's fine. All right. I'm going to repeat certain facts about your initial trip here, and Greg, you're going to have memories of another version of events.
Okay.
When you first arrived in the solar system, there was a fight happening in the sky. Jovac was protecting the planet, but an army of different ships that didn't seem unified were combating him. The 2 dragons were going at it. Kala, who you now learn is Kala, her and seems to be a different version of your ship, came and assisted you in getting down to the surface. When you got to the surface, the Calecor was dead. Not recently, but not long before your arrival. Most of the temple had already been completed. You all just kind of ran through it.
And by the time you all arrived to fight Jovac, the matriarch was gone. You killed him yourselves. In almost every other version of events, here are the differences. The matriarch is with Jovac and helped him get through the temple. The Calecor was not dead. Kala and Jurag were still in fighting, and Kala does die, but no swapping of ships ever happened, and there was no space fleet.
Oh, we need
No
to get a
space.
rebel army. We need to
Okay.
make sure that fleet shows up.
Oof.
Okay. So when we came through, we knew that one of the fleets fighting seemed to be Jovac and the Seven.
Yep.
And Durag and Kala were having kind of their own battle.
Durag seems to
Jovac
be
was
fighting on Jovac's side, and Kala was fighting on the other side.
On the other side. So, what do we remember about the other fleet of ships?
You, for this, with a natural 20, you remember this. You do remember that there was a massive space station. The specifics were a little too far. No one rolled a sensor check to confirm. But there was a squadron of fighters that helped guide you to where Kala shot that beam at you. They were Aslanti Star Imperial.
Aslantes.
The same people who owned the Azimuth, the ship, the colony ship you guys went to earlier in the campaign.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so here's our to-do list, from what I understand. Get the dragons to fight. Get an army fleet of Aslanti ships. Kill the matriarch, and the Calecor needs to be dead or the head needs to be off of it.
The Aslantes. Okay, so the Aslantes don't dislike us. Because
I dislike them.
Because we broke onto we helped them by accident because we were that's where we found one of Jovac's first minions, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, they were being attacked by the Seven when we found them originally,
Yeah.
and we helped out their colony ship, or their
Laurel,
Imperium ship.
you're asking? Roll me a culture check.
Oh boy.
You're talking about cultures and relationships of mass amounts of people. Culture checks are important, people.
10.
10?
Also, though, we should be running.
I
I'm assuming
assume
we're
you're like running and going.
Yes,
To the
we're
temple!
we're
God,
trying to talk and exercise at the same time.
Well, but now, let's be clear. You all are running to the temple. I'm running to meet up with Tim halfway because we're not leaving without him.
No, we're not leaving
no.
without Tim. Tim is essential. He's essential. He's the constant in every timeline.
I'm not leaving without Tim. So if me
Okay.
and Tim have to die, we will.
Damn.
I already left you behind once. We're not doing it again. It was you were
Okay.
really annoying about it.
All right. So the Aslanti ship that was being attacked by the Seven, and we helped them, right?
Oh, real quick, with a 10,
Ready?
just to answer the check that Liz made earlier, with a 10,
Yep.
yes, and also as a soldier, you understand just one thing about Aslanti. As a people, in general, if you're not human and of the Aslanti Star Empire, they don't like you. Period. It's just a flat fact. But then again, that's an entire category of people. That's what a 10 gets you.
Them either. So
I mean, the Vesk are kind of the same way, aren't they? Generally, if you're not Vesk,
In your
Oh.
timeline, the Vesk signed the pact deal. There may be a few that don't like it, but culturally, they are for the pact.
yeah.
That's what I mean, right? There are
we dislike anyone who's not.
there are
Vesk. We just
people on both
acknowledge
sides
Vesk
of
are
a
better.
debate, but culturally speaking, it's made that aware. Derek.
Okay.
Yeah. So also, because I don't believe we're the only ones here, I'm also going to come over to Farah and them, I'm assuming, and let them know that Jovac has showed up and we need to pitter patter.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Like, because they might know. So I'm going to make just get my ship to send a message to their ship.
Okay.
Bad Jovac. Baddest best in the whole damn planet.
All right. So Flinch runs off by himself towards the south direction,
Yeah.
and then the rest of you are all headed
Because
towards
I want
the
to
temple?
meet. Because I want to meet Tim to make sure that he makes it.
And the rest of you headed towards the temple. Am I correct there?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Spacers. For a live edit Q&A of the show, please visit twitch.tv/TwistedGearStudios. Our next Sunday live edit for Spacers will be August 29th. We also host other shows like World Building Wednesdays over there, so feel free to check it out. If you have any suggestions of what you would like to see us do next, please leave us comments and messages on Ko-fi and Facebook. Leave us a review at your platform of choice, as it really does help. Until then, our next episode of Spacers will air Tuesday, August 31st. The call is still on hiatus, but we will be back recording new episodes by the end of the month. You'll be hearing from it soon. Music and ambient tracks for this episode licensed through Triune Films and Artlist. Your players this evening were Bailey Yarkey, Derek Snow, Elizabeth Welsh, Janessa Coates, and Lindsay Delansky. I was your host and GM, Zach Barrett. Have a good week, everyone, and we'll see you next